Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah, Shaziash, Allah giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise. Also the Most High God, Yahweh, in the names of the God, Son, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, who the world refers to as Jesus Christ, and he is the Savior of the nation of Israel. All right, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yash, Allah, W5, Los Angeles, through the Spirit. So we'll be going into the different reincarnations of Yahawashi. All right, different reincarnations of Yahawashi that we find in the Bible. Because Yahawashi, his beginning wasn't just Matthew 1 and 1. All right. Well, the world refers to as Jesus Christ has been here since the beginning. All right. And in fact, when you go to John chapter 1, all right, in verse number 1, it'll tell you the origin of Yahawashi. It'll tell you the origin of Christ. Right. This is the book of John, chapter 1, verse number 1. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So what is this talking about? In the beginning was the Word, meaning the Word was the beginning. Okay, so this is before Genesis 1 and 1. Yahawashi was already created. He was the first creation of the Most High himself. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3, verse number 14. All right, Revelation 3 and verse 14. It says, and unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. So the first creation of the Most High was literally Yahawashi. Right? He was the first creation of the Most High. So with that being said, right, that means that he was the beginning, literally. So when we go into this, a lot of people think that, okay, Jesus, his first, when he came on the scene, it was just Matthew 1 and 1, right? No, it wasn't just Matthew 1 and 1, man, right? And Shalom, Shalom, brother, right? All praise to the Most High, right? Shalom. Shalom to everyone that's tuning in live. So, hey, again, Yahushua beginning wasn't just Matthew 1 and 1. It was way before that. And he actually appears in the Old Testament several times, right? It's just like how we have cameos, if that's the proper word for it, cameos. So directors might pop in a certain scene in their own movie, the own movie that they're directing. They'll kind of pop in as like a side character, right? And they'll actually play a certain specific role within the movie itself. That's just like Yahawashi. Yahawashi is the director of the movie of Yahweh of the Most High's movie. He's the director of it, right? He's making sure everything goes according as planned, and he's also the main character of the movie. But he comes in at different times, right? He'll come in at different times. He'll come in at at the beginning. He might come in at the middle. He might come in at the end, right? So again, this is the same thing, just like Yahawashi. He will pop up within different times, right? Within this whole movie, right? Khan, Shalom, Shalom. Hey, all praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. We're Most High willing, we're going to continue with the edification through the Spirit, right? We're going to continue to put out videos, lives, and continue to feed the sheep as much as we can, right, through the Spirit. So all praise to the Most High. So we'll start with Matthew, right? Actually, I want to get this precept first. Right? Let's go to the book of Exodus chapter 20, because this concept of regeneration or reincarnation is actually a foreign concept for those of us that live in the West Hemisphere. In the Western Hemisphere, that includes America, right? Let's just look it up. Right, that includes the Americas and Europe. All right, so Western Hemisphere, right? Just share the screen real quick. Share the screen, right? So the Western Hemisphere, right? So this would be considered the so-called Western Hemisphere, the West. All right, just like how you have the kings of the West versus the kings of the East, pursuant to the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verses 12 on down. All right, so you have the Western Hemisphere. This is talking about the Americas, namely. And the thing is about the Western Hemisphere, it's a certain ideology that comes with it, the Western mindset, that stems from the Greeks and the Romans. That's really where it stems from. Even though Greece and Rome is considered to be east of the Americas, the Grecian type of ideology that they came with, the philosophies, right? The that it came with, that it adopted, right? That sprung out of Greek, that sprang out of Greek culture, spread to the West, and it became Western ideology. So when we talk about Western ideology, we're talking about basically the free-mindedness of it, right? When we look up like the Western ideology, right? This is really where it stems from, right? So it says the Western world. It says tendencies that have come to define modern Western societies include the concept of political pluralism, individualism, prominent, prominent Salakia subcultures or countercultures, such as new age movements. All right, this is really what it's talking about: the new age movements, the new age, the new world ideology that stems from the Eastern cultures. You know, a lot of Eastern cultures have concepts of the afterlife, have concepts of um, similar concepts of how to live. Before you enter into your house, you take off your shoes. This is not just a Japanese sentiment. This is not just a Japanese style lifestyle of you having to take off your shoes before you enter into that. This is in the Bible, because we know the Bible is an Eastern book. So to quote, you know, for example, Brother Naquan of WFI, he would say a lot of times in his life that you would have to take your mind out of the West, put it back in the East. We're actually Eastern people, all right? But Esau has taught us to believe his way when it comes down to the Western ideology, right? A lot of Western cultures don't believe in a concept of regeneration or you coming back upon the earth. The recycling of the lives, the recycling of the souls, the spirits that once lived. They don't believe that. But there's Eastern cultures that do believe that, right? Let's look up Eastern cultures that believe regeneration, right? And when we say we believe in regeneration, we don't believe in regeneration that in the sense that of the Hindus, right? Let me bring up this regeneration, right? Hindu, right? In Hinduism, there are multiple concepts related to regeneration, including reincarnation, the universe's regeneration cycles, and the role of Shiva in the work of Hindu reform movements. Reincarnation, Hindus believe that the soul or spirit of a human it's like if a human being passes through a cycle of existence, occupying different bodies and experiencing repeated births, deaths, and rebirths. The new body may be human, animal, or spiritual, depending on the actions of the previous life, right? So this is similar to what the Bible actually teaches. This is similar to what the Bible seems to teach and what the Bible seems to actually bring out, right? Where a lot of people that have a Western mindset won't go through these certain type of precepts and won't actually try to break these certain things down, all right? Go through these. Salakia. So in this video, we're just focusing on not reincarnation, regeneration as a whole, but just specifically about the various reincarnations, the various regenerations of our Lord Yahawashi. All right, and we don't believe that if you die, you'll come back as a butterfly. This is something that the Hindus may believe. We don't subscribe to such belief, but rather you come back in your same allotted tribe, in your same allotted nation, or so-called race that you were once in. All right. So without further ado, let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20. All right, verse number 5. It says, Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. The Lord punishes the third and fourth generation. Why is that? It's because according to the Bible, we come back every around third or fourth generation is a full kind of cycle of lives that come back, right? Now, let's go through Yahawashi coming back, all right, in the forms of different men upon the earth. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse number 16, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, and verse number 16, right? Or Slaki, I wanted 22:16. It says, Revelation 22:16, I, Yahawashi, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So Yahawashi said he's the root and the offspring of David, right? So what does that mean? He's the root and the offspring of David. If he's the root and the offspring of David, that means that, guess what? The root of David, he is that root. And he's also the offspring of it, right? The root and the offspring of David. So Yahawashi predates David, and he also is the offspring of David as well. And he comes from David. Yes, Yahawashi is the son of David, but he's literally, when we go through the precepts, Yahawashi came back as Solomon, right? Yahawashi was Solomon in the spirit. Yahawashi was also let's go to Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, right? This will kind of clear it up a little bit. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. This is the book of Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the book of the generation of Yahawashi Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So he was the son of David and also the son of Abraham. You see that? The son of David and the son of Abraham. So hold on now. Why are we reading in Matthew 1 and 1 that Yahawashi is the son of David and the son of Abraham? Yeah, people might say, all right, we're all sons of Abraham, but that's not the case. Yahawashi is literally the son of Abraham, and he's literally the son of David. We're going to prove how he's the son of David first. It's not just because he came from the lineage of David, right? It's not just because he was the son of Joseph, who was, a direct descendant of David down the line. No, it's not just because of that. When we go to the book of 2 Samuel, we see that Yahawashi is also Solomon, right? Or was also Solomon. These are the same people, all right? And when I say people, the same people, I mean the spirit was the same. Now the flesh was different. We know that when Yahawashi came on the earth as the son of Joseph, right, and the son of Mary, and brother to James and Joseph, right, and his other siblings, when he came like that, and guess what? We understand that Yahawashi was perfect then. See, every life that you live, it could be better or worse. We know that when Yahawashi came on the earth as Solomon, that he did go off later in his later life. That Yahawashi, that his heart was drawn away from the Lord and wasn't perfect like it was David. All right. So, but let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 7. And this is going to bring it out evidently clear that, yes, okay, Yahawashi was Solomon. Right. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 7. Right. It's a book of 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse number 12. It says, and this is the Lord talking to David. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. So he said, David, when you pass away, I must set up your seed after you, right? And it says what? And I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name. So this we know to be Solomon, right? It says, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Forever. Now, this is the Lord, he doesn't lie. We understand that, right? The Lord does not lie, right? The Lord, will never lie. Let's go to Numbers real quick to prove that. All right. Let's go to Numbers to prove that real quick. Let's see if I can find this precept. It's been a while. Right. Well, yeah, in Numbers, right? Hold on real quick. Okay. So I was right there. This book of Numbers, chapter 23, verse number 19. Salakia. Right? Numbers chapter 23, verse number 19. And it reads, God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall not he make it good? So the Lord, we understand he's not a man that he should lie, meaning that he's not like you and me, because men lie all the time. Women lie all the time. So in that sense, he's not a man, right? Hey, Shalom, Mat, right? He's not a man like that. The Most High, he's the Most High. He's the supreme being. He doesn't lie. He has no reason to lie, right? A lot of people, they lie because they're afraid of the truth. They're afraid of what might happen if they tell the truth. The Most High, he's not afraid of anybody. So why would he lie, right? It's no reason for him to lie. So when you go back to 2 Samuel chapter 7, the Lord said, I'm going to set up his kingdom forever. The person that comes out of your loins, I'm going to set up his kingdom forever, right? And we know who built an house for his name. Solomon. How do we know that? You just keep on reading. You go to 1 Kings, the first few chapters. Solomon is given the blueprint from the Most High himself. And when you read these chapters, it'll literally tell you the dimensions, the cubits by length, the width, the length, and the height of the cherubims, of the brazen altar. You know what I mean? With the bulls, all this other stuff. The blueprint, Slaki, the blueprint is literally there. That's how you know. Also, when you go to Acts chapter 7, it'll tell you that very plainly. Acts chapter 7, verse 46. Who found favor before God and desired to find a tabernacle for the God of Jacob. Talking about David. David wanted to build a tabernacle. He wanted to build a house for the Lord, but the Lord didn't allow him to because his hands was too bloody. David killed a lot of people. All right, pursuing the book 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse number 6 on down. All right, David killed his 10,000s. But it says what? But Solomon built him an house. So Solomon built the Most High house. You go to that in 1 Kings chapter 8. All right. But it says what? Going back to 2 Samuel 7, verse 13, he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. We understand Solomon only reigned for 40 years. Let's look that up real quick. Right? How long did Solomon reign? Right? How long did he reign? And let's look that up and see if his throne was established forever. All right, where's this at? The hell? All right. Yeah, so it says King Solomon is a central biblical figure who, according to the Hebrew Bible, was the builder of the first temple in Jerusalem and the last ruler of the United Kingdom of Israel. After a reign of 40 years, 1 Kings 11:42, he died of natural causes at around 55 years of age. All right. So Solomon only reigned for 40 years. It didn't last forever. But we see here in 2 Samuel 7, verse 13, that the Lord is saying, he shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Now check this out. It says, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, which Solomon did commit iniquity. What iniquity did Solomon commit? Well, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 11, right? Let's go to 1 Kings 11. 1 Kings 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites. So he like Baskin Robbins, he wanted 31 flavors. And so essentially, with wanting all these different type of flavors, he also dabbled into the nations concerning which the Lord said to not marry into. Daniel chapter 7. It's like Deuteronomy 7. Because again, it says the Sidonians and the Hittites. So, as he added onto himself more and more women, an excessive amount of women, in fact, it's going to say 1,000 wives that he had. Then again, he kind of more or less dabbled into the nations also that we're not allowed to. Let's say after he got, you got Moabites, you got Ammonites. Well, let's kind of dabble. Let's kind of get into, the Hittites. Let's see what the Hittites talking about. And literally, not that, getting with Edomites and Moabites are bad, but that he dabbled so much into into these women that he also touched the nations in which we're not allowed to. In specific, right? Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1 is specifically talking about those 7 nations, right? But our forefathers have also used those precepts, that law of Deuteronomy chapter 7, to also apply to these other nations, because no matter if you get with, these Canaanites, the Canaanite nations, or the other heathenistic nations, it's always that chance of then turning away your heart from the Most High. All right. But 1 Kings 11, verse 2, it says, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto them in love. Right? It says, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. So he had so many wives that they just turned away his heart from following the Most High. Any man that has 1,000 wives, and again, Solomon was also the most wisest king. So even him, with all his wisdom, he allowed these women to kind of turn away his heart from following the Most High. It says, for it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after the other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Amorites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. All right. So again, Solomon, he started worshiping other gods, and that was a sin, right? So yes, Solomon did commit sin. And when we go back to 2 Samuel 7, verse 14, it says, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, right? If he commit iniquity, it says, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. All right. So the Lord said, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. So when did this happen to Solomon? There's no account of Solomon getting literally his back beaten in, right? There's no account of him getting 40 lashes pursuant to the book of Deuteronomy, but no further, lest your brother sing vile unto thee. There's a law that says that, right? Let's go to that law, right? Deuteronomy. There's a law about how to deal with iniquity, a brother committing iniquity, all right? This is a book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse number 2. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge, remember, idolatry is a sin unto death. But Solomon didn't get stoned for committing idolatry. He didn't even get beaten. Where's the account of him getting stoned or getting reviled by the people for committing idolatry? Right? There's no account of that. Right? It says that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face according to his fault by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed, lest if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. So that was one of the punishments back in ancient Israel. You couldn't go over 40 lashes. If you committed a sin, the top, one of the top punishments was, hey, you get beaten, right? You get whipped, but you couldn't exceed 40, right? Unless your brother seems vile unto thee, because that's inhumane. Over 40 was considered inhumane, all right? But 40 was that number. That was the max. But nevertheless, there was no account of Solomon getting beaten, as Yahweh promised David that if he committed sin, he would get beaten. You know who got beaten? You know who got lashes, right? You know who got his back beaten was Yahawashi, not Solomon. Because guess what? Putting two together, Solomon is Yahawashi, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 26. Solomon is Yahawashi, right? They're the same spirit. So this is because, again, we understand you play out your judgment not only in your present life, but also in the life to come. This is hold on, before I go to Matthew, let's go to second Ezra. This is the book of second Ezra, chapter 14, verse number 35. It says, "For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again." So when we live again, that's when the judgment comes. According to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 16, under the sun is a place of judgment, right? Under the sun, not above the sun in heaven, right? Under the sun is a place of judgment, meaning where we live at. This is where people get judged at. And we see that on a day-to-day basis. We see the car accidents. We see people getting burned in flames. There was an account of somebody in Yellowstone Park in Wyoming, and he literally fell into an acid lake, right? He fell into the water, and that water is so hot and filled with acid that he literally died in that lake. So we see people getting judged every day on this world, in this world that we live in. And you may not see it. Some people may not realize that, right? Because they live in a good community, right? People watching Netflix, and you know, you got your picket fence. You know, you saying hello to your neighbors, and whatever case, man. Hey, guess what, man? This world that we live in, this is a place of judgment. It's not talking about no damn hell dimension somewhere underground or in the heavens, right? It's not talking about that. The place of judgment is here. So that's why when Solomon, right, he committed sin when he was Solomon. When he came back as Yahawashi, he had to pay for those sins. All right. He had to pay for those sins. That's why he got whipped. So let's go to Matthew chapter 26, right? Did Yahawashi get whipped? Yes, of course he did get whipped, because the Lord promised that if he committed iniquity, he would get whipped. He would get, beaten. All right. He would get beaten by those stripes. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27, verse number 26. It says, "Then released he Barnabas." Oh, Salaki. Then he released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Yahawashi, he delivered him to be crucified. So Yahawashi got scourged when he came as Christ. So hopefully this makes sense. Solomon was Yahawashi in the spirit. He committed sin when he was Solomon. When he never got punished. Then he died of old age, right? Or just natural causes. And then when he came back as Yahawashi, he got beaten then, right? Not when he was Solomon. Proving that Yahawashi is Solomon in the regeneration. And not only that, but also because Solomon was one of the wisest kings. We know, Yahawashi, if you're the son of God, you're going to be very wise, right? We know Yahawashi was filled with wisdom. And so Solomon was named one of the wisest kings to ever walk the earth. Let's go to First Kings. All right. Let's go to First Kings. And let's see what the Lord said. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 10. All right. First Kings, let me see where I'm going to start. This is First Kings, chapter 10. And verse number 7, it says, "Howbeit I believe not the words until I came, and mine eyes have seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom." Right? So Solomon was so wise that even the queen of Sheba, which is all the way in Ethiopia, heard of his wisdom and his glory and his prosperity. This is Yahawashi. And this is similar to how King Solomon ruled the kingdom in Israel when he was reigning, and how there was peace in Israel, and how he had his men servants and women servants, and how he had tributaries of all the heathen around him. This is similarly to how Yahawashi will rule the kingdom of heaven when he comes when his kingdom is brought upon earth. It's in a similar manner, right? When you read First Kings, it's like a kingdom connotation to it, right? When you go to First Kings chapter 4, right? This is the book of First Kings chapter 4, verse number 25. It says, "And Judah and Israel dwell safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon." So all the days of Solomon, Judah and Israel dwelt safely, right? We know that in Jeremiah chapter 23, who's going to bring Judah and Israel to safety? Is it going to be Solomon? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise up unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth." This is talking about none other but Jesus Christ, Yahawashi. It says, "In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called Yahweh our righteousness." All right. So in his days, Judah shall be saved and Israel shall dwell safely. This is talking about Yahawashi. He's going to bring Judah and Israel into safety. So when you go back to First Kings chapter 4, we know that Judah and Israel was dwelling safely under the reign of Solomon. So likewise, under the reign of Yahawashi, Judah and Israel are going to dwell safely. So there's so many parallels between how Solomon reigned and between Solomon and between Yahawashi. When you read about Solomon, right? Solomon again. Let's go to the book of right. Let me see where I want it. Right, this is the book of First Kings. All right. This is the book of First Kings, chapter. Man, well, there's a lot of precepts, right? I'm gonna go to so that, yeah, there's a precept in First Kings. All right, we're gonna have to get it, but there's a precept in First Kings about how Solomon, right, was wiser than all of these men of the East. All right, let me try to look it up real quick. Solomon wiser than the men of the East, right? First Kings 4 and 30. Okay, come on. Right. This is the book of First Kings chapter 4. Oh, yeah, come on. All praises. First Kings 4 and verse 30. "And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Chalco, and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about." All right. So he was spending a lot of wisdom, man. And this is Solomon doing that. And again, who's the only man as wise or wiser than Solomon? Yahawashi. How do we know that? Let's go to Matthew chapter 11, right? Or Matthew 12. This is a book of Matthew chapter 12, verse number 42. "The queen of the south," meaning the queen of Sheba, "the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For she came from the utmost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. What does that mean, a greater than Solomon? Meaning a better one, a better Solomon, a better version of Solomon is here. Why is Yahawashi saying this? Because Yahawashi is that better version of his previous self, right? He understood this. A greater than, a better version of my past self is here, right? We understand Solomon had 1,000 wives. When Yahawashi came back, right, as Christ, he had 0. You see that? So Yahawashi, he got it. I mean, it more or less, his spirit was right and correctly and very upright when he came as Christ. Right? He had to be. So again, and there's more on that, but to just keep going, I'm now move on to the other regenerations. When you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 22, right? Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 22, and verse number 20. All right. This book of Isaiah, chapter 22, verse number 20. This is also another reincarnation, regeneration in Yahawashi. And it shall come to pass in that day that I'll call my servant Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and I'll clothe him with thy robe, and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I'll commit thy government into his hand, and he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder, so he will open, and none shall shut, and he shall shut, and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. So who is this talking about right here? Who is this talking about? Who is Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, that just came out of nowhere? This brother right here is actually another regeneration of Yahawashi. No man has the key of David except for Yahawashi, right? No man can open, and none shall shut, and shut that no man can open. Only the Lord can do that, right? Let's get that precept in Job chapter 12, right? Only the Lord can do that, man, right? So why would the Lord give authority to just a regular man, right, to do something like that, right? To open up your understanding, and if you wanted to close it, he can close it as well, right? Who gave the Lord? Who? What man deserved that type of power besides Yahawashi? Right? David, Abraham. Abraham wasn't given the key of David. David wasn't given the key of David. All right. And the key of David, again, is really going into when it says David, just like how it says David shall be the king, pursuant to the prophecies talked about in Jeremiah, it's not talking about David himself. It's talking about the seed of David. So when that key is really talking about the key of the Lord, the key of Yahawashi, the key of life and death, right? Because again, Yahawashi has the power to open up your understanding, and he has the power to close it. And nobody can touch that. Nobody can open that door, and nobody can close that door. If he wants to open the door, if he wants to close it, that's up to the Lord. It's not up to us. Right? So when it says Job chapter 12 and verse number 14, it says, Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. So he can open up your understanding, and he can close it. That's the Lord. That's his power. So again, Isaiah 22 and 20 on down, Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, has this power. And the government, right, is in his hand. And he's going to be a father to inhabitants. This is how you know it's talking about Yahawashi. Because this same type of phraseology is talked about in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. Right, let's read that real quick. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9, verse number 6. It says, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So It's the same type of phraseology that we see in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, as we see in Isaiah chapter 22, verses 20 on down. Why? Because these are the same people that's talking about, right? So going to the key of David, right? The key of David. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3, right? The key of David. It's not just a regular key, man. Right? You got a key to your car, a key to, to your house, right? You may have a keychain full of keys, It's not just a regular key. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3, verse number 7. It says, "And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name." So again, Yahawashi has the key of David. But we read in Isaiah 22, verse 20, Eliakim the son of Hilkiah has the key of David. So who has it? Yahawashi. But Yahawashi came also as Eliakim the son of Hilkiah. All right? So that's another Brian generation. Right? Now, I also wanted to get a quick precept. This is not more so a reincarnation of Yahawashi, but this is an appearance of Yahawashi in the Old Testament that we see as well. Right? Let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 5. Right? This book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse number 13. "And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in the sand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?" I mean, are you for us or you're for our enemies? This is Joshua talking to the man that he's seen. And he said, "Nay, but as the captain of the host of the Lord am I now come." So he said, "Nah, I'm a captain of Yahweh's host. I'm a captain of the Lord's army." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, "What saith my Lord unto his servant?" And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, "Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy." And Joshua did so. All right, Joshua did so, man. This is the appearance of Yahawashi in the Old Testament as well. Joshua chapter 5. Another cameo, right? Let's get one quick one as well. So Yahawashi also came as Isaac, right? How do we know that? When we went to Matthew 1:1, it said that Yahawashi was the son of David, the son of Abraham. How was he the son of Abraham? He's the son of Abraham not only because he came back as an Israelite, or that he was an Israelite upon the earth, but because he was actually the son of Abraham. Abraham had many sons, but one of his sons was what? Isaac, right? Let's go to Galatians chapter 3, verse number 16, right? Galatians chapter 3, verse number 16. It says, "Now to Abraham and to his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ." So the seed, the promises was given to Abraham and his seed. Now, as Paul is saying, the promises wasn't given to multiple seeds. It was only given to one seed. That seed was Christ. But when he says Christ, he's really talking about Isaac, right? He's really talking about Isaac. So that seed line, we know when you read Genesis, it went from Abraham, skipped Ishmael, went to Isaac, right? Isaac inherited the seed, and we know that based off this precept, Christ is being called Isaac, right? Isaac is being called Christ. And what's spiritual about that is that you have Isaac and you have Rebekah. They have children, the two sons, Esau and Jacob, Esau being the evil one and Jacob being the good one. let's take it back to Genesis, or let's take it back to the beginning of the book. You have Adam and you have Eve. Adam is also known as another reincarnation of Yahawashi, probably the first reincarnation of Yahawashi. And we'll go to First Kings, First Chronicles, it's like the First Corinthians chapter 15 to prove that. But we see Adam and Eve in Genesis chapter 3, and we see them and we see they have two sons as well, just like Isaac and Rebekah. We see them had two sons, Cain and Abel, Cain being the evil one, Abel being the righteous. We see that Cain killed Abel. We see they have a disputation, and because of Cain's envy towards Abel, and because that he despised the birthright, Cain despised the fact that, you know, he didn't want to be with the Lord. Just like how Esau despised his birthright, he didn't care about the Lord. He didn't care about the Most High, and he chose Satan. He chose sin. So just in that same manner, there's many parallels between Isaac and Rebekah and their children, and Adam and Eve and their children, right? Abel had the spirit of Jacob. Jacob had the spirit of Abel. Esau had the spirit of Cain. Cain has the spirit of Esau, right? We read that. We see that in the Bible. They have very similar spirits. Why? Because these, more than likely, we know that Adam was Yahawashi, but these are very similar spirits because we understand that the process of regeneration, spirits coming back upon the earth, is in the Bible. All right. So let's go to First Corinthians chapter 15, right? And it's not going to be too much more longer, right? It's the book of First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse number 1 Corinthians 15, verse number 44. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body, right? It says, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last man, Adam, was made a quickening spirit. It says, howbeit that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is the Lord from heaven. You see that? So Adam and Yahawashi have very have a lot of similarities. When you go to 1 Corinthians 15 and verse number 20, it says, but now is Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order. Christ the first fruits, afterward they that are Christ at his coming. So Paul is comparing the two, Adam and Christ. This is because Adam is Yahawashi in the regeneration and reincarnation. Through the fall of Adam through the sin of Adam came the fall of man, and through the power of Yahawashi came the rise of man, came the rise of the Israelites. The fall of Adam was a fall of Israel, right? Even though this was before Israel, but it was a fall of mankind, a fall of Israel, and through Yahawashi is the rising up of Israel. You see that? So yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two. All right, let's go to I don't want to go too deep into the breakdown of Adam, but when you go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, right? Wisdom of Solomon 10 and verse number 1, it says, she preserved the first foreign father of the world that was created alone and brought him out of his fall. Talking about Adam, right? And gave him power to rule all things. Who else has power to rule all things? That's none other but Yahawashi. But Adam had power to rule all things, right? So again, Yahawashi was Adam because these two have the power. They literally were given the same authority. You know, when you read Genesis, it said that Adam was placed in the east of the Garden of Eden, or he was placed in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. He had to keep order among the nations, man. All right. So Yahushua is also always, whenever he comes upon the earth in the regeneration, either as an angel or as a messenger or as a king, he has power. We have to understand, all things was created for the pleasure of the Most High and for the pleasure of Yahushua. All right. You have to understand that. Colossians chapter 1. All right. Let me see here. And one more on that. Let's go to second Esdras. All right, second Esdras. This is the book of second Esdras, chapter 3, verse number 4. O Lord, who bears rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. It says, and thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him, and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. So the Most High commanded Adam to love his way, meaning what is love? The keeping of the commandments. John 14:15, 1 John 5 and verse 3, right? The keeping of the commandments. So Adam was made as a king over the whole earth, right? We know who's going to be the king of the whole earth is Yahawashi later. So again, all of it is no new thing under the sun. Solomon was the king of the whole earth at one point in time. It's just literally the same spirit, but in different bodies. All right. So yeah, you know. So yeah, but with that, all praise to Yahweh Shema Mashak Yahawashi. Is the different reincarnations of our Lord Yahawashi, going through the precepts, precept upon precept. All right, all praise to the Most High God. Right, Lord willing, this was edifying through the Spirit. Hey, we're going to try to continue to bring out breakdowns, edification, not only upon this channel but also upon the main channel. So the water for the continuous support, the water for tuning in. Kwame Yasha Allah. Shalom.